Okay, I'm lecturing on annotated bibliographies for you for a few minutes just to make sure you understand exactly what's going on. A bibliography or a works cited page, whatever you want to call them, is for the most part at the end of your paper. I'm just kind of scrolling as I'm talking to find some information about what I want here. Is basically at the end of your paper, the bibliography section tells me where in the world you got all the material. Okay? So, for example, I'm looking at the sample in ABA annotation here. This is a bibliography. It gives me the author, when the book or article was published, the name of the article, the name of the book, where it was published, and who the publisher was. Now, all this information for a bibliography is necessary so that if whoever's reading your paper is really interested in studying it more, they know where to find more information. So if they like a particular quote that you had and they're like, oh, I'd like to read some more of this person's stuff, they can see where that book is and be able to look at that book for themselves. Plus, it gives credibility to your paper, that you actually went to some professionals who know what they're doing, who've done research, who've made discoveries, etc., and you included that in your paper. So it just gives you more oomph then for your perspective. So that's what a bibliography is. And you will not include this annotated bibliography in your paper, but it's just part of the writing process. It's kind of like your outline. That's not included in your paper when you turn it in, but it's the part of the process in order to make this work. So, an annotated bibliography. Let's look and see what one is here. If you go to the top here, and you're supposed to be taking notes over all this, but I just wanted to kind of talk with you through it. Let me go back to the definition here in the first page. So we're on the first page of annotated bibliographies. It's a bibliography as a list of sources. That's what I just said. One has used for researching a topic. They're also called references or works cited, depending on the style that you're using. So whether you're using APA or MLA or Chicago, they may ask you to title your page differently. But again, that's just the information so that somebody can find the book that you're doing your paper on. An annotated bibliography, it says here, is a summary and or evaluation. In this case, it's going to be and an evaluation, not or. So an annotated bibliography includes a summary of each of the sources. So in this particular assignment, I asked you to do an annotated bibliography of 10 sources. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the bibliography at the top of the page, just like the one that I showed you from the sample sheet. Let me bounce down there again real quick. There's a bibliography right there. So that's going to go at the top of the annotation. Okay, so I want the bibliography first. All right, let's go back here. Then after that, I want a paragraph of a summary. Some annotations merely summarize the source. That's what you're going to do. What are the main arguments? What's the point of this book or article? What topics are covered? If somebody asked what this article or book is about, what would you say? That would be the paragraph that you're supposed to be doing first with your summary. Okay, so those are the first two parts of an annotated bibliography. The one is giving me the reference, the bibliography, the author, the title, that kind of thing. And on this website, what website is this? Purdue OWL. It gives you how to write that bibliography page in APA format, which is what we're doing. After you're done with the bibliography, then you do the summary, which I just talked about, summarizing what the article is about. And I like what it says here under summarize because it gives you some questions to answer so that you can write about it, If you were going to tell somebody what this article is about, write me a paragraph of what the article is about. Okay, and then you can go to paraphrasing to get some additional help. Then assess. After summarizing, it may be helpful to evaluate it. Is it a useful source? How does it compare with other sources? Is it biased? What's the goal of this source? Okay, I'm more concerned with you coming up with how you're going to use this in your paper. So I'm looking for a paragraph that says, this was a good article. I appreciated his stand on such and such a topic, and I would probably use this under Roman numeral 2 of my outline when I'm talking about this, this, and this. So it's kind of like writing a note to yourself on why you picked this article. It really, really helps when you go back and you've got books and 10-page articles to dig through. You can at least look at the annotated bibliography and it'll tell you why you picked it and where you want to use it in the paper. And this basically is just a real quick reference for you to go back to as you're writing the paper, so that you can remember what the article was about. Oh yeah, I read the summary of, and this is what it was about, and yeah, I think I can use it. And then you write the assessment paragraph, and it tells you where you were going to use it. It just kind of reminds you of why this information was important to you. So that's what I want for your annotated bibliography. Your bibliography, where your source is from, a paragraph on the summary, and then the paragraph on how you're going to use it in the paper and why you decided to use this source in your paper. Okay? I know some of this reading here talks about telling me why you didn't like it. Well, I'm not going to have you waste your time in writing an annotated bibliography on a resource that you're not even going to use. That would be silly. So make sure these are the ones that you're going to use, you're going to include in your paper, and write that paragraph. So that is the lecture on the annotated bibliographies.